Avoid buying toys which comprise of toxic or flammable materials. For infants, toddlers and children who put small objects in their mouths, avoid toys with small parts as they pose a choking hazard.
Welcome to another episode of the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing. This week, the Secretary of Tourism and Transportation, Tracy Davidson Celestine, and the Assistant Secretary for the Division of Health and Social Services addressed the media.
We are having a program called REACH, which is Realization of Economic Achievement. It's a program where we assist persons in terms of giving a grant that they could further themselves as a self-employed person. And that program will be handing out 35 checks to 35 successful applicants who have applied and now receiving a check on the 29th of November 2013 from 10 a.m. at the Ghani's Building, Wilson Road, Scarborough. That's a building just behind Sunshine Snack in the back there. Also on Wednesday, next week Wednesday, we also look at the domestic disability unit for persons who living with disability. Every year we observe the International Day on the 3rd of December. And so we're having a week of activities starting off with a road race where the cyclist is going to do from the Coast Guard base onto the Esplanade Road, a cycling race. And on Saturday, we're also going to have annually Rung the Tongue also. And then on the same day, Saturday, we'll do an exhibition with the wheelchairs in terms of playing basketball at the Montgomery Hard Court at 7 p.m. So you'll be able to see those persons in wheelchair who are disability play basketball. And there's also a session where you're going to have Come Trite. Come Trite meaning that we ask the public to also sit in a wheelchair and play basketball from the wheelchair. It's like see how it feels being a disability person. So that is going to be on Saturday. And on Tuesday, the 3rd, which is the actual day, we'll have an annual sports and family day, which is going to be up at the Dusty Park, Hope Village. World AIDS Day, as you all are aware, is on the 1st of December. And so the Division of Health, Social Services, and the TRHA, which is the Tobago Regional Health Authority, will be hosting a week-long sensitization program with various events, hoping to raise awareness to the Tobago scenario, informing the public about service offered within that area.
First and foremost, I want to discuss transportation, and to indicate sometime earlier, I would have spoken about the inaugural flight, Apollo to Tobago, which commences December 3rd, 2013. And presently, the Division of Tourism and Transportation, in collaboration with stakeholders, are preparing to receive that flight. It will land in the vicinity of 7:45 p.m., and we are just about finalizing the work to receive and welcome the first flight of Kono Apollo charter from Scandinavia with approximately 240 passengers on board. The format of the presentation of the ceremony will include a very brief ceremony in the International Departure Lounge. And as I said earlier, we are working hand in hand with the stakeholders. We are also working hand in hand with airport, customs and immigration with a view to ensuring that all systems are in place and that when that flight is landed, that it goes, all of the issues are dealt with basically. I want to remind Tobago that the Scandinavian market is the third largest outbound travel market in Europe. And so this flight, the charter, will operate weekly out of Stockholm and every second week from Copenhagen, with connecting flights in both Norway and, of course, Finland. So far, I must reveal that the number of confirmed visitors who have booked their 2-week holiday to Tobago, and this is significant, we're talking about 2-week holiday, 14 days basically on the island for the winter season, currently stands at around 2,489 passengers. And they all coming from countries of Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Denmark. And as I would have indicated in earlier press briefings, this stands to increase tourist arrivals in Destination Tobago by approximately 25% as a result of this new service. And of course, discussions are continuing with a view to ensuring that those flights continue beyond the winter season. I also want to add to the report that the cruise season 2013-2014 is well underway. And I had mentioned earlier that the destination is set to receive over 18,000 cruise passengers between 2013 and April 2014. We are also, at this point, undertaking negotiations as well as finalizing work for the 2014-2015 cruise season period, where our target is to attract approximately 50,000 cruise passengers during that period. And so this includes several new calls, and this is as a direct result of the visit that we would have had to Europe in July and August. We have had so far several new calls out of Thompson Cruises, P&O, Adonia and Carnival UK, Queen Mary, Saga Cruises, and also the German multinational travel and tourist organization, TUI. I want to mention that the TUI representatives were on island last week, and they were visiting for the first time Destination Tobago, and the intention is to have their ship, which is called the main ship, make 10 visits to Tobago between the period 2014 and April 2015, and that ship carries approximately 2,000 passengers. So we are talking about a total of 20,000 passengers resulting out of those 10 calls from TUI, and they will start from the December 2014, December 2015 period. From all reports, it indicates that Tobago is well received by those two representatives, and they are very eager and excited to working with Destination Tobago as well as the Division of Tourism and Transportation. Thirdly, I want to report on the Tobago Jazz Experience and to let the public know that plans are well on the way for the hosting of Tobago Jazz Experience 2014. And we announced earlier at WTM the headline act. And this was the first time we were able to launch this festival to an international audience, and of course including international media. And one of the things that we're hoping to do is to be able to attract the international guests or international tourists to the island to experience or cultural to experience or music offerings. And we use some of those international artists in order to do that. Out of this, we were able, and because we were able to launch early, we were able to hold discussions with a number of different airlines with a view to organizing packages for the Jazz Festival, for visitors to experience the Tobago jazz. We are also preparing for a local launch, and that will take place next week, where we will announce the other acts. And we have currently, apart from John Legend, we have Earth, Wind and Fire. We also have Brandy, and we are also signing on to another well-known international artist, but I can't reveal the details just yet because we are just about signing the contract. But I want to indicate that plans are well in place, and we are working endlessly to ensure that the Jazz Festival is not only marketed in Trinidad and Tobago, but in international as well as regional countries and destinations, so to speak. Hence the reason why we would have launched Jazz Festival early and would have taken the opportunity to launch it at the World Travel Market. My final presentation or report for today has to do with a report on the World Travel Market, and to really indicate that this secretary is pleased to report on the participation of Destination Tobago at World Travel Market, London. The Division of Tourism and Transportation would have sponsored the 20 persons traveling to World Travel Market for the sole purpose of ensuring that Tobago remains relevant and that Tobago continues to remain competitive and more so ever present in the minds of our UK clientele. Of course, you know that the UK market continues to remain one of our key source markets. And I want to add to that there are two major events that Tobago must participate in. That is the ITB, which is held in Germany. This is one of our largest source markets. And two, the World Travel Market, which is held in London. As I would have indicated earlier, these are two of our existing and significant source markets. And so it is important for Destination Tobago to attend these trade shows and to ensure that Tobago is well represented at these two travel shows. Now, at WTM, Destination Tobago was able to gain immeasurable mileage, was able to compete against 180 countries who were also there vying for clients, guests, tourists out of the UK market. And so it is important that if you are participating as a destination, that you ensure you have activities, you have events that can have your destination stand out amongst 180 countries of the world. And mind you, we have 196 countries, and 180 of those participated at World Travel Market for a UK target market. Now, the team was led by the Secretary in the Division of Tourism and Transportation. And I must say that out of the objectives, we embarked on ensuring that we reinforce the Tobago House of Assembly's commitment to tourism on the island and on a global platform. Our objective also sought to engage the international trade in discussion and to seek buy-in about the Tobago 2014 marketing strategy, to seek new business opportunities for successful collaboration for 2014 and beyond through networking and strategic alliances. At WTM, we were able to meet with key hoteliers with a view to discussing possible accommodation for Destination Tobago. And so there were meetings held with the CEO of Sandals, otherwise known as, known as Butch Stewart, with a view to discussing, as I said, investment opportunities for Destination Tobago, because we are also looking to add new rooms to the island. The intention was also to launch the Tobago Jazz Experience 2014 in the United Kingdom and the European markets, and we did that very successfully. As I said, the coverage was immeasurable. We also wanted to position and promote Tobago as a viable travel option to wholesale and retail travel professionals. Now, from the stakeholders who would have attended, they would have indicated that when compared to the last 2 years, they would have seen an improvement in, or an increase rather, in the number, in the interest in Tobago, and they would have also seen an increase in the number of persons wanting to do business in Tobago. And of course, we wanted to heighten the awareness of our sport tourism niche in the United Kingdom through Tobago's global brand ambassador, Dwight York. And let me add that Dwight York continues to remain a key ambassador, a key person in the UK market. And while we were there, over 200 and something persons from UK would have come to the stand just to interact with Dwight York. And mind you, all other destinations, the Caribbean destinations, the destinations of the world, would have carried to that WTM all of their personalities. Vivian Richards was there. Whoever personality is that can help to sell the destination was present. And so it was fitting for Tobago to take Dwight York, or global ambassador, to help bring that level of recognition to the island of Tobago. And then most importantly, we were there to continue discussions with Monarch Airlines, Condor Airlines, Virgin Atlantic, British Airways on the sustainability of Tobago route. And mind you, those discussions were very fruitful. As a matter of fact, there are 2 airlines that are already looking at adding new flights to Tobago out of those meetings. I also want to add that out of the 20 persons, there were several members of staff from the Division of Tourism and Transportation. As I indicated, the Secretary of Tourism would have led the team. It was fitting to have the marketing manager be a part of the team because we also discussed marketing opportunities. It was fitting to have the transport coordinator be a part of the team because we were also meeting with airlines, and so the transport coordinator coordinates that. It was fitting to ensure we have our event coordinator because, of course, we launched the Jazz Festival, and then we would have had artists, cultural artists, who he was responsible for coordinating the cultural aspect. It was fitting that we invited Dwight York, our global ambassador. As I would have indicated, his presence is still very huge in the UK market, and so it was important. And of course, we needed a customer relations agent who would help to disseminate information about Destination Tobago. Now, we also included on that mission stakeholders, private stakeholders, because of course we can't do this alone. We have to have the support of the stakeholders. And so we would have, the Division of Tourism and Transportation would have paid officially for a 7-member team representing the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, representing the Tour Guides Association, representing the Bed and Breakfast Association at the World Travel Market. Now, Trinidad, let me indicate that Team Tobago was a part of a national contingent. And so this was a collaboration between the Division of Tourism and Transportation and also TDC. TDC has the responsibility of marketing Destination Trinidad and Tobago. They also have more resources than Destination Tobago. And so when we have these missions where it is important to represent the 2 islands, we collaborate in terms of the resources that we will add. And most importantly, we collaborate in what we are going to project. And so this was a national delegation, of course, led by the secretary, because unfortunately the minister couldn't have been there. The total cost for Tobago's participation, for Trinidad and Tobago's participation at WTM was in the vicinity of $6 million, which is equivalent to about £600,000. Tobago's contribution to that was in the vicinity of £93,000, which is somewhat equivalent to 1 million TT dollars. So the substantial cost for WTM was taken up by TDC with the Tobago House of Assembly and the Division of Tourism and Transportation contributing £93,000 or $1 million to assist, to pay for members of staff, airfare, to pay and accommodation, to pay for the stakeholders who would attend it, and also to pay for things dealing with baggage allowances or promotional materials that were needed, and things to that effect, and of course our global brand ambassador Dwight York. As I indicated, we would have achieved our objectives. We would have set out 7 objectives, 8 objectives rather. We were able in that period of time to achieve the 8 objectives, and as I indicated, we received immeasurable coverage out of that mission to WTM. I must add to that we would have also taken 4 artists in the form of limbo. They would have done dancing, and they sold Tobago culturally. They were well received. As a matter of fact, it was pasted on Facebook, and I understand that Tobago has received over 140-something hits just from that very small video. And apart from that, because of what we did, CTO would have, which is the Caribbean Tourism Organization, they would have purchased an ad, a space in the Birmingham newspaper, which cost in the vicinity of £120,000. We're talking 120,000. So this is the cost of an article, the cost of a newspaper space in UK, £120,000. Here is it that we spent 93,000, but we're getting coverage of £120,000, and this is to market Destination Tobago as a result of that mission that we undertook. So I want Tobago to rest assured that the Division of Tourism and Transportation will do all in its power to ensure that Destination Tobago remains well known in those markets that we cater to, and this secretary will ensure that whenever a team leaves to represent Tobago, that team has clearly defined objectives, and objectives that we will all work on achieving.
Mrs. Davidson Celestine, with respect to the contingent, you said it was 20 persons. Is it customary to carry approximately 20 persons to the event?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Tobago has been participating in WTM for well over 15 years, I understand, and this does not represent a significant departure from the norm. It's the same kind of composition: the marketing manager, the marketing team, the transport coordinator, and of course the secretary will attend, ministers in the case of Trinidad, and of course we take the stakeholders, because they are key to ensuring that this whole tourism trust remains alive and well.
In terms of the cost, I know you said $1 million. Is this a price similar to last year?
Yes, it is a price similar to last year. So basically, it is the same from my knowledge.
In terms of
I know out of Trinidad, there might have been some increases, because coming out of the post-mortem, there were complaints by the stakeholders that the stand wasn't large enough, and so they would have undertaken to expend a little bit more to increase the size of the stand, because delegation Trinidad and Tobago had over 100 persons on that stand. Although the Tobago House of Assembly would have taken 20, there were 80 others. Private sector representatives, members of staff from the Ministry of Tourism and Transportation, and even stakeholders who are based internationally but who have properties in Trinidad and Tobago. So there were over 100 persons at the stand at any one time selling Trinidad and Tobago. So we really needed a space that would accommodate enough persons.
Just one final question. I know previously, earlier this year, there was the launch in terms of Mr. York being ambassador for Tobago. Do you have like a cost as to, is he paid like monthly? What has he done so far?
Well, I can get you that information. No, yes, he is paid monthly. I can't tell you, I can't recall the amount. I think the contract is for a 4-year period, and he has to make several appearances. But I would have to find that information for you, because it's not specific to WTM.
Thank you for staying with us for the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing for the week ending November 30th, 2013.
It is important to inspect furniture carefully before buying or accepting. Check for small scratches, loose legs, or missing screws. Generally, ensure the sturdiness of the furniture before purchasing. When buying a bed, ensure it is firm and can withstand your weight as well as others who would be using it. If possible, take other persons in your household to test its sturdiness and strength.